This is the MLW Radio Network. This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
Oh, it's a brisk evening here in South Philly. Starting to change out of seasons.
Yeah, man.
Inside baseball, we're recording this Friday evening on September 23rd, right before football Sunday. My Eagles looked great on Monday Night Football against the Vikings. Very happy, very good, brother.
Yes.
Very good, very good.
Yes, very good, very good. Give the Eagles a yo cuz.
Yo, cuz.
Give it the celebration. I'm playing well.
Yo, cuz.
We gotta get him to get one. We need him to have one that says "Go Birds."
Shout out to Angel Azevedo. This is my buddy, my friend for about a decade now. He does some really funny shit, and one of the things he does is he talks like somebody from the Northeast. And
Yo, cuz.
Yo cuz was born. So
you have to have him do a EAGLES. Eagles.
I was just gonna say it's got to be Eagles though. It's got to be factually appropriate. Yeah. Love it, man. Angel, thank you so much for letting us use that. You can actually see the full video right now if you go to our Instagram page, instagram.com/Mind of the Meanie. Follow us there, and you can see Angel's post right live there. But Meanie, I know it's the fall when I get to break out my Halloween Havoc sweatshirt. I've been waiting all year to wear this again. It's my favorite sweatshirt. You will see me pretty much everywhere in this thing. I'm just not going to lie to you.
I'm pretty fucking stubborn. I will fight hoodie weather to the fucking death. I'll slowly tap, when it gets cold enough to wear a hoodie, all right, but I'll still rock the shorts until it's absolutely necessary. I'm a t-shirt and shorts guy, through and through. I'm not like hardcore like I was in my early 20s where I could walk through a blizzard in shorts.
Right.
And be like, oh yeah, it's cool. You know?
Yep.
I'm older, but it's a little brisk out. It's nice. It's comfortable. I'll put it this way: is like people are like, "Aren't you cold in shorts and t-shirt?" I was like, "Dude, I fucking set my AC to this. I'm fine. I'm good."
Right. Yeah. One of my nicknames in high school used to be Shorts because I would walk around in shorts pretty much all year long, and snow, fucking blizzards. I'm out there in my shorts and my fucking Adidas shoes. I'm like, fuck the boots, man. I don't need this shit. And now that I'm 30. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck being warm. But now that I'm 37 years old, I can't really do that anymore.
F that ass.
Right in the B.
Yeah, right in the B hole.
Yo, cuz.
I can't remember what regular air smells like.
Dude, I was toxic the other day. Like Wednesday, Mrs. Meanie will go to McCusker's ahead and I'll catch up with her. And here's a note to everybody who sees me post, like, because lately I've been just posting the photo of a can of beer. Like, I'll be drinking PBRs. Here's the fucking psychology, all right? If you see a can, I'm stopping in for a couple. If you see the picture, I'm there for the fucking long haul. So, I usually, get there around like midnight, 1 a.m. after she's already been there for a little bit. And, I'm doing my daily errands, so I'll go catch up with her and, hang out with Dougie and have a conversation and have a couple PBRs. But good Lord, stay away from me the next fucking day, man. Those fucking PBR farts are.
I think that's pretty much anybody though, dude. Those PBR farts, but like I can imagine they're probably like 3 or 4 times as bad with you.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, I'm I'm already on the fucking OSHA list for my normal ones. Just the kind where it's like my PBR farts are like somebody close talking you, just like with bad breath.
Oh, man, dude.
Bad breath. Yeah, and you're just like backing up, but they're like, no, come here. You can't hear me. I hear you, and I smell you. Back the fuck up.
I could smell you before I heard you. Fun fact, the Philadelphia Refinery Explosion of 2019, that wasn't because of the gas. The gas that was there. It was because Meanie walked by and let one go, and the gases and the OSHA thing, it was a whole thing. Allegedly.
The funny thing about that one was I wasn't even in town. I was in, we were traveling to Canada. Me and Mrs. Me were driving up to Toronto. I was working for a promotion called Greek Town Wrestling, and we stopped in Niagara Falls the day before, or like 2 days. We made a trip of it, and I wake up to Refinery Explosion. I was like, whew, I'm off the hook for that one.
Now, how close were you? Like, how close are you physically to the refinery? Because that's down off, if I recall correctly, is that the refinery that's off 95 there by the bridge, or am I thinking of somewhere else?
Yeah, that's like Southwest Philly, down by the junkyards.
Bro, that's where it's at. Yep.
If you're taking okay, I'm sure people will enjoy this conversation, but if you're local, you'll get it. If you're doing 76 towards Jersey, you get off at Oregon Avenue.
Yep.
And then you make the right one to Passyunk, over the bridge, right by the junkyards, because everybody's going down there to get some car parts.
Mm-hmm.
It was just right in that area.
I had some friends who lived in the area, and they said it was intense, the explosion itself and the ripple effect. I know people.
I have a friend who basically works for that company, and he said he saw security cam footage where there's like this slow gas leak, and you can kind of see the gas cloud go around a corner, and you see somebody who was driving see it, and you see the car back up and like, get the fuck out of there.
Wow.
Everything went up. He's like, yeah, he saw like security cam footage, and one person noticed it and caught off it did something to make it less catastrophic, so to speak. It could have been much worse.
Yeah.
If this person hadn't, shut off some kind of valve or something like that. But my buddy worked down there for a little bit. And as soon as I heard of it, I was like, hey, dude, you all right? Tell me you're alive. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I was off last night, but this is what happened. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm just reading about it here. It's so it was a spill of hydrofluoric acid that caused a ground-hugging vapor cloud, which ignited the refinery's alkylation unit and caused a fire that caused 3 separate explosions, which sent shit flying into the river, which you can't fuck up the Schuylkill any more than it already is. So,
you mean, you take that back. Schuylkill River.
Oh, yes, the pristine and crystal blue water of the Schuylkill River.
What was that Netflix show that came out, The Irishman, that was supposed to be about the mob?
Yeah, with De Niro,
And they talk about, because it was based on guys from Philly.
Yeah.
And they talk about if they drained the Schuylkill River, all they would find was bodies and guns, at the bottom of it. And then they ran somebody throwing their gun into the Schuylkill River.
Yep. Dude, I'm telling you, I was talking to Rob Van Dam about it the other day. We were texting when I was in Vegas. And I was like, hey, man, I said, I'm flying into Vegas right now. And I said, I'm looking at all of the rivers and the canals that are all fucking, drying up now. And I said, how many barrels they found here? And he was like, oh, nice, man. Welcome to town. He's like, but also, I'm sure you know this, but the body count is up to 5 right now. And what that means is anybody who's not aware of this is that all of the lakes and rivers and shit are drying up in Vegas. And, due to climate change and things of that nature. And as they're drying up, they're finding, I'm not laughing, it's not funny, but it's insane, right? They're finding barrels with people's bodies in them from the 70s and the 80s. They're like mafia hits, and they're in big barrel drums, like the shit you see in Breaking Bad where they stuff people in the barrels. That's literally what they found. And apparently they're up to 5 right now. And I said to Rob, I was like, I can't imagine that these mobsters thought that climate change was going to be something that would impact their dumping solutions back then. And it's just crazy, man. Crazy. I can't even imagine what they would scrape out of the bottom of the Schuylkill.
Dude, for some reason, I had always thought that the the water going down was linked to like the companies the bottled water company, bottled water industry, where they're, just basically draining these lakes to make bottled water and not worrying about replenishing it and stuff like that. But
I mean, it makes sense though.
Yeah, I always, thought that was the cause, but it's just nature. I told you I went to school with a couple mafia kids, right?
Yeah, you went to school with Joey Merlino's, or was it not Merlino? Who was it? You told me this.
I went to school with Nicky Scarfo's two sons,
That's it.
Mark and Nick Jr. and Philly and Eddie Jr.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Were you friendly with them?
So, we got along.
You had to be, right?
Yeah, dude. Like my first day, I was like in third grade, and one day, I was in third grade, and I got into a fight with a fifth grader or something like that, and I like handled myself pretty well. And Nicky Jr. comes over and goes, "What grade are you in?" I go, "Third." And he just starts busting out laughing because like a third grader just beat up a fifth grader, He was fucking with me. It's not like I picked on him, but it's just,
right.
I handled myself, and he just like, he popped, I knew Mark, but I was more familiar with Phil Jr. Like I think I was one grade above him, and we're always doing gym together and stuff like that. So we're playing basketball together. I didn't see him in ages, but that was interesting. I went to St. Mike's Catholic school in Atlantic City,
right?
And his dad had a house right behind the school on Georgia Avenue. So like during lunch, they would go over there or whatever. But I haven't been in touch with him, probably since then. But since 87, 88. But it was interesting,
I have this great vision in my head right now of an ECW event in like the late 90s and all these mobsters walking in. Hey, how you doing? We're looking for the Blue Meanie. Is he here? Is Brian here? I ain't gonna fucking call him the Blue Meanie. I know him as Brian. Where the fuck is he? Hey, Meanie. Yeah.
Yo, cuz.
Meanie, listen, I need you to do me a favor. I remember the third grade thing. I need you to come over and take care of some parcels for me. You think you could do that? Appreciate you. Hey, this fucking guy, look, his hair is blue, guys. You think anybody's gonna see him fucking coming? Get the fuck out of here.
Very sort of related, but not totally related. Like a couple of years ago, maybe 2015, I was at McCusker. Well, yeah, McCusker's, and somebody approached me about doing things, and I was like, bro, I appreciate the offer, but no.
As you know, sir, I'm TV's the Blue Meanie, so the answer would be no.
Yeah. He wanted me to help him collect. I was like, no. Could you get somebody less recognizable in South Philly?
You know what happens when you do one thing?
Yeah. Not that I would do it in the first place, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Pick somebody. At that time, I was, I still had my hair dyed, full time, God damn.
I can't even imagine how that must have been. I can honestly say I've never been approached by any mafioso to do some work. Not that I would do any work, but I've never been approached at a bar. All the Russian kids at school used to want to hang out with me though when I was in high school, because I look very like Slovak when my beard isn't here, and Sergey and Dima and all these guys would come up. Hey, Adam, how you doing? Hey, what's going on, guys? Listen, we have some TVs in the truck. You want to help? You want to come help us? Hey, let's go over here. I want to show you something. You want a TV? I'm like, no, man, no. I really. First of all, you're in high school. Second of all, I don't know where you got this merchandise. Thanks. I'm gonna pass. But now, speaking of people we shouldn't pass on, though, I would be remiss not to mention the wonderful and beautiful Pod Squad is with us tonight, as always.
Hello,
And
Vanessa Bella.
that's right. We got a shout out to Vanessa, Travis, Lucha joining us in the Pod Squad chat right now. Don't forget, go to patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. Sign up. Watch us record this early and ad-free and hang out with us for a couple of hours as we record the show. Sometimes we even get 2 shows in one. And you'll also get this beautiful Mind of the Meanie Pod Squad official card here. We're working on a couple of other cool things for you as well, so stay tuned. Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Meanie, let's jump into a couple of quick topics here. Get the ball rolling after we talked about mafioso and bodies and barrels. This white rabbit noise. White Rabbit is all over the internet right now.
Yeah.
They're, playing the song White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane at a lot of the live shows, and the red light is shining, and my brother in Christ, I can't imagine it's anybody else but Bray Wyatt. What is Meanie's take on White Rabbit?
It's pretty cool. Some nice Easter eggs they're laying, to start doing, laying the seeds at, these house shows. And then there was this mysterious empty arena video that surfaced where they're playing it just to an empty arena. And it's just conveniently somebody recorded this and released this. So I dig it. Everybody busted out their cell phones and their, the camera phones and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very cool. If it's anybody but Bray, I think it'll be a huge disappointment. So I would think it's gotta be Bray.
My only question is, I know there's been some conversation about friend of the show, Karrion Kross, who I'm still waiting day 7 for his acceptance of my challenge to the impression off. But friend of the show, Karrion Kross, there's been some conversation that it may be him, but his gimmick is working really well right now. I would be shocked to find out that they were going to change him.
Yeah, his gimmick is, TikTok, time's up, stuff like that.
And as my wife Courtney would call him, the time machine guy, which makes zero sense. But we're going to go with it.
But I mean, it makes no sense to be doing this at the house shows. If you do this in anticipation of somebody showing up,
right?
Not for somebody who's already there. He's already in the company. He's already on TV. There's no reason to do these teasers at the house shows and stuff like that. So, it's got to be Bray. In my mind, and like I said, if it's not, it'll be highly disappointing. But I don't think it's Karrion either, because, like I said, he's there. So I mean, I can see if they were doing it to lead up Karrion Kross's return, but it makes no sense.
I think I prefer the way the Kross came back, though. There was no build up, there was no warning. It was just boom, he comes out. It was almost to me, in a lot of ways, it was representational of the way that Hunter is handling creative, because it's Drew and Roman, they're building up to this big fight, and then out of nowhere, Kross, and you just don't expect it, and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. I can't wait to see what happens. But man, he's been fucking killing it. I love it. I love every segment he does. I love all of the fucking everything they're setting up here with McIntyre is going to be fantastic. But I would be very surprised. Disappointed though, I think. But do you think that fans have too much expectation when it comes to the potential return of Bray Wyatt? Or do you think that this is sort of like a CM Punk-esque worst kept secret in wrestling situation?
I don't know. I mean, I think Bray wants to come back. Bray needed a break. I think his break had more to do with, just needing time to recharge his batteries. He really was never over the death of, Brody Lee, his good friend passing away, and just needed time off and stuff like that. He expanded his boundaries by doing the YouTube channel with some very interesting movie clips that he was doing on his YouTube. But what was the question again?
I was just thinking, do you think fans are putting too much emphasis or too much stock into the idea? Basically, do you think they're working themselves into a shoot, brother? Do you think that they are just perpetuating this, that he's going to return? Or do you think it is a CM Punk-esque, worst kept secret in wrestling, that he is going to be coming back? It's just a matter of when.
I think it's just a matter of when. You know, I mean, if he was going to do anything, he'd be, you know, if it was a matter of not wanting to work for WWE anymore, he'd probably be showing up in AEW. These teasers would be happening in AEW. AEW would be playing the White Rabbit song, you know?
Right.
So WWE's doing it. So I think it's a matter of him showing up back up to WWE. I think he wants to be WWE for life.
Brother.
You know, yeah. I mean, his family's got a history there. You know, between, you know, Blackjack Mulligan, his dad, his brother, all that good stuff. And I say bring him back and bring his brother back with him.
Yeah.
Bring Bo Dallas with him. God damn, I mean, two guys who look like brothers, because they are. But two guys, you know, I mean, if you're going to have a faction, at least have your brother in it.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. So I think
sense.
you got to bring him and Bo back, you know, and do some good shit.
Yeah,
no pun. I hate when that people go, it's good shit, pal. But
meaning,
I definitely think, you know, a rebooted Wyatt family, or at least a Wyatt duo, you know, would be awesome.
I would love to see sort of a combination of the Wyatt family and the Fiend, because I think one of the biggest issues for me, and I want to sort of talk about this before we go into the next topic, because we'll talk about Jon Moxley's win. I think one of the things that kind of I think one of the things that really undid it for Bray with the Fiend was the fact that I felt like he was overexposed. And I felt like maybe they were leaning into on it too much instead of like more of a Demon Finn Balor scenario. Character worked, but I don't think they let it breathe sufficiently. And then when they did, it just felt like, you know, the Hell in a Cell thing. And then there was the Goldberg loss. What do you think do you think it's going to be something brand new? Do you think the Rabbit is representative of something new, or do you think he's going to come back in sort of this multi-layered way?
I think it's got to be something new. And like, if you've seen Triple H's interview with Ariel Helwani, he says Bray is one of these uber creative people, to where, like, just as he's thinking of one thing, he's thinking of the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I think this will be just like a natural evolution of the character. What it will be, I don't know. No, the only person knows is Bray, and more than likely Triple H.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely the Fiend might be done for now or forever. I don't know. But when you think about how far Bray's come from how far he's come from being the Cape Fear guy,
yeah,
you know, to the Fiend and Follow the Buzzards, and now it's the White Rabbit. And, you know, I think it'll be something new. I mean, he's had a year off just to A, recharge his batteries, physically and mentally, and B, just come up with something new. You know,
yeah.
And here's the thing too. I mean, come up with something new. That's new merchandise. That's new money.
Right. Yeah. That's,
I learned something, my first year in the business. I started out in the Detroit area. I started all over the Midwest, but there's these shows in Detroit, and there's this dude who was like super over that I trained with, Ray the Crippler Roberts. And one day he was sitting there, me, him, and Sabu were sitting there, and he's talking about how his T-shirt sales were like slowing down. Sabu goes, well, goddamn, look at the crowd. Everybody's wearing your shirt. They don't need to buy that shirt again. You need a new shirt. So he went out and bought a new shirt and made all new money. So now, that's something I learned early on. So, I learned that from Goldust too. Goldust, every now and then would change up his face paint, because he knew that would be a new T-shirt design, a new action figure, a new. So for Bray to come back and doing this, to do something he's already done, creatively would be counterproductive, and financially might be a little bit counterproductive as far as like the merchandising goes, because you want to do something JR told me, come back with a fresh coat of paint and fresh new look, new approach, new character, a new spin on an old character. And it's a whole new line of merchandising. So it'll definitely be something new.
Yeah.
When he comes back.
Also, something new I wanted to touch on. Jon Moxley, the first ever 3-time AEW World Champion, went over on Daniel Bryanson, or Daniel Bryan, whatever his name is now. No, I'm just kidding. Daniel Bryanson. Yeah. I said it wrong. I said it wrong, and I was supposed to be serious. Bryan Danielson. Thank you. Went over at the what was it? What was the main, or was it All Out? All Out. Grand Slam. Thank you.
Grand Slam.
Thank you very much. Went over on Danielson there. What do you think about Jon Moxley winning for a third time?
It's kind of out of necessity, right? I mean, he was champion. and
then he was again as the interim champion.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It makes sense. I mean, he's been kind of going back and forth with the belt, between him and Punk. And, now that Punk's out with the injury and, of course, the suspension, it makes sense. I would love to see Daniel Bryan get the belt eventually. Definitely. I mean, he would be great with a great champion.
Yeah.
But Moxley has been a good champion, and definitely a recognizable star. For the casual fan, the whole thing is you want the casual fan to be flipping through the channels and see him on there and stop and stay with it. Everybody, you can't assume every WWE fan knows what AEW is. I mean, I'm sure they've heard of it or something like that. But, when you get the casual fan who usually just watches WWE in their home and they're flipping the channels and, oh my God, there's Dean Ambrose. Oh, he's Jon Moxley now? What? Oh, he's the champion? Oh, let me check this out.
Right.
And folks who come over to check out Jon Moxley in AEW learn about MJF. They learned about Jungle Boy. They learn about the rest of the roster. Oh, and FTR's here. Oh, the Revival's here.
Revival,
now they're now they're FTR. Oh, okay, cool.
I know these
guys. This is fresh,
right?
Yeah. So it makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson would have won it. I wouldn't have been mad either. That because he's highly recognizable as well. You want to have somebody who is a channel stopper when it comes to, people, channel surfing. So, and, they're both legit tough, internationally recognized. So it makes sense, first triple crown, is it? Well, not triple crown. That's like if he won the tag belt and the TNT
title. Yeah.
That would be a triple crown. But 3-time he's got the hat trick with the AEW belt. And it's just a matter of, I would keep it on him for a while. The belt's been the belt has bounced around a little bit too much. Yeah. And, I mean, it's been shown that, what they're doing with Roman Reigns, a champion, a long-term championship reign is sustainable if done well,
Agreed.
Yeah. So, I just keep it on them for a little bit.
Yeah.
Have them hold on to it for a little bit. The only thing I just wish he wasn't. The only thing that kind of hurts, and this is my opinion, but like him appearing elsewhere, because he does take in indie dates on the weekends and stuff like that. If I was Tony Khan, I would pay him whatever he would be losing to not take those bookings. I would up whatever they're paying you. I'll pay you to not do them, just so my AEW champion's exclusive to my promotion. That way you can't say, well, hey, don't do this. Well, are you going to pay me to do it? No. Well, I got bills to pay. It's like the indie promoters, all the indie promoters want, back in the day, or I don't know how it is now, but they all wanted you to be, they all wanted to be Vince McMahon. They would all run the same town, and you couldn't run. If you work for me, you can't work for so-and-so. Where are you going to pay me to not work for so-and-so? No.
Then fuck off.
Then I'll work for so-and-so. In this case, if I was Tony Khan, I'd be like, look, I understand you do these bookings. I understand it's added revenue. Here's Tell me what they're paying you. I'll pay that. So I'm not taking away from you, your wife, and your newborn child, so you can, support your family. But let me have some exclusivity to you. So A, my champion's not all over the place.
Right.
The only place you can see my champion is on my TV. And B, I don't want you to go out and doing these indie shows and getting hurt. And then I'm having to run another tournament for, then Daniel Bryan will be the champion next time, if he goes out to do these shows and gets hurt, So that's the only thing Tony, please, keep them exclusive, keep the bow on for a while, pay him a little bit more money to have them be more exclusive to your brand.
Right.
And, build the championship, because the championship's kind of losing steam a little bit, bouncing around like a bingo ball,
Well, that was my first thought too. When I saw that he was going to be fighting Nick Gage again soon, I was like, well, wait a second. He's the champion now. Why would he be going to another promotion to do another fight? Like, what if he gets hurt in this? Because it's going to be a death match. Him and Nick Gage are going to fucking tear each other apart. What if he legit gets hurt? What happens then? We have to have another tournament. And it's like, I think the initial CM Punk injury was just a victim of circumstance. I mean, you could point to the same thing with Cody Rhodes. Literally, dude's getting shot to the fucking moon and he tears his pec. Like, shit happens, right? And I totally understand that. But then, the media scrum happens and now we're still bouncing around. And it's just like, let's just have a little bit of continuity here for a while. I think I don't mean to interrupt, I was just thinking when you said about the Roman Reigns reign, I think if he builds it correctly and they let the storyline, because this is also a good opportunity for them to reintroduce and reestablish the MJF return. Because I think that was really, out of everybody in the media scrum and all the shit that happened, I think the person who suffered the most from that was MJF. Because I felt like they were really building to what was going to be an incredible story between Punk and MJF if they would have let the two of them just play it out together. Punk pops off at the mouth, shit hits the fan, and now MJF's like, well, fuck, what do I do now? So I think there's a good opportunity for them to, realign the track, if you will, and kind of start over. What do you think?
Yeah, they don't, everybody's like, oh, it's such a work. Yeah, if it's a work, they would have held off a week and not buried the return of the guy who had like the most controversy going into his break with MJF, going off on Tony Khan and calling him a fucking mark on live TV that, Tony Khan pays for, which everybody thought that was a shoot, if it was a shoot, Tony Khan wouldn't have, allowed him out there in the first place to go out there and call him a fucking mark on TV that's costing him all that money.
Don't forget the pipe bomb was a work shoot. The pipe bomb was a work shoot. Don't forget.
Yeah, but where were we?
We're talking about MJF and his return and how they could reestablish him as the guy.
Well, dude, before that I was going to talk about keeping Moxley with the company, because when I first went to WWE from ECW, I went there during the period where WWE was letting their guys, some of their guys do independent dates. So when I wasn't working for WWE, I could go work for, Joe Pizza out in fucking Ohio and do a 3-day loop. I was a legit promoter, Joe Pizza. Talk about fucking somebody with potential mob ties, but
Meanie, I want to introduce you. It's me. It's Phil Jr. Listen, I want to introduce you to my friend here. He does the wrestling stuff that you do. His name is Joey Pizza. I want you to take real good care of him and do the shows, okay?
So we were doing 3-day loops for him, and I was making some decent bank,
Some decent mafia bank.
Yeah, I was working for Nova's brother, Donnie B. It was kind of cool for like these indie promoters to be able to say from the WWE on our show. But then WWE started realizing, hey, some of our guys could potentially get hurt doing these independent shows. So let's dial that back. So, we write, Sunday Night Heat, and so-and-so can't make it because he got hurt working for, Joe and Joe, working out for so-and-so up in, Boston or whatever. I forget that guy's name. Mike Spada up in Boston, we can't use Val Venus because him and Meanie were wrestling for Mike Sparta in Boston. So we'll scrap those plans. That's where my line of thinking is coming from. You got to protect the guys that you're spending. I'm sure Tony Khan's paying these guys very handsomely. So just to, keep them fresh, keep them uninjured. Now I will say this, as much as I don't want, a Moxley working, if I was a promoter, I wouldn't want Moxley working elsewhere because of the risk of injury. I think the CM Punk injury, what it came about from the lack of just working a full-time schedule where working once a week, your body does not build up the callus that it needs to build up to where, like, if you're working a Monday Raw, a SmackDown, and a couple house shows, if you're working 3 or 4 times a week, with a couple days off, your body builds up that callus to get used to bumping and diving and doing all this stuff. So I think, as much as people love that 1 day a week work for AEW, it does just as much harm as good, because A, you're not used to the pain, and B, like the younger guys, they're not getting as many reps. So when they go out there, they're more likely to make a mistake because they're working 1 day a week.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, the same could be said about Cody Rhodes with his injury. I mean, coming from the AEW world to the WWE, one could say that argument could be used in that vein as well, in sort of in the opposite way.
Was Cody's injury from, I think it was from lifting weights, wasn't it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, depending, because from what I see, AEW's, I don't know if their training is the same. Like, I don't know how their performance centers and stuff work. Like, I don't know any of the insides or the interior of that. But if Cody Rhodes isn't working the same kind of schedule and not building his body in the way that he was in AEW, coming to WWE, doing something, you know what I mean? Like, it tracks in my mind based on my limited knowledge of it. But it's like, yeah, that would totally make sense that he would do something like that. And I'm a total accident. What can you do?
Yeah, like I do independence, but like, if I went back to working a full-time schedule, I would, look like the, fucking Tin Man in my day and day until, eventually my body got used to the bumps and the bruises and stuff like that. You have to re-educate your body all over again on how to absorb that punishment. So,
right. You have to train yourself again. Yeah.
Yeah.
One other small note before we jump into Ask Meanie, our favorite part of the show. Let's give a yo cuz to the pod squad again.
Yo cuz.
I want to know. So the rumor and innuendo is that the Young Bucks have put feelers out to jump ship to the WWE. The contract isn't up until 2024. However, Omega's contract, Kenny Omega, former AEW champion, is up at the end of this year. What do you think? What does Meanie think about the potential of the Young Bucks jumping to WWE? And does he think Kenny Omega will make the jump as well?
I almost want to say it's a bargaining chip, to see if I don't know the specifics of the fallout from the Punk situation, but if it's a way to, I don't know. If it's a way to make an ultimatum for the Young Bucks to tell Tony Khan it's either us or Punk, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You keep Punk, we're leaving. If you get rid of Punk, we'll stay. I don't know if it's that kind of situation, from the outside looking in. I think they've potentially drawn a line in the sand and said, we can't work there with this guy. And, if, we'll see who else wants us, stuff like that. And, they don't necessarily need to go to WWE. I don't know if WWE would want them. And I'm not saying that in a negative way.
Right.
I'm not saying that in a negative way at all. I mean, they could certainly go, to Japan. Kenny could go to Japan and stuff like that. But, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see him in the WWE world, in a WWE situation. I think it was more easy for Cody to go from WWE to AEW and then back to WWE than somebody starting in AEW going to WWE.
Mm.
I don't know if WWE. Well, here's the thing. I don't think WWE. I was about to say something, then I kind of backtracked. Like, I don't know if WWE still harbors anything from them doing the too sweet stuff and the suck it's and all that stuff in Japan with the Bullet Club, like basically doing all the click stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, knowing WWE, if there's a chance to make money with somebody, I think they would definitely go for that. Having the Young Bucks come over from AEW, they would do it just to stick it to AEW.
Yeah.
Now that I've talked and thought about it out loud, so to speak, they would definitely take the Bucks just as a suck it, so to speak, to AEW.
Right.
And they know they can make money with the Young Bucks. So, but would they go? I mean, you said that they still have another deal for another 2 years. Who knows what happens? I think the Bucks leaked that out to make Tony reconsider, whether he wants to keep Punk or not. I am pretty firm on that thought,
Right. Yeah.
I think, that's their way of saying it's either him or us.
Right.
So to speak.
I think you're right. I wouldn't be surprised to see them jump though, because I would be shocked to find out that Tony would get rid of Punk over something like this. But again, I don't know how the business works. I'm just the guy talking on the podcast. I don't know how it works, but
it legit comes down to the fact of, three of your office members went down and confronted an employee physically.
Right.
Even though I don't care that Punk said, "Come find me."
Right.
There's a place and a time to come find him, and one is not while his face is still bleeding and he has a torn tricep behind a locked door with Ace Steel and Ace Steel's wife while she's on crutches as well.
Here's the thing, right? I still am firmly in the camp that Punk was wrong for chumping Tony Khan in public, right? I think I
would have handled that better. I would have handled that better.
Again, I'm not in the industry. I don't know how I would have operated in that world. I can see the argument from Punk's side and the leaking to the press and all that other shit. I can see where that frustration would come from, but I don't.
But again, I would say they shouldn't have put him in that position.
Well,
to go
right.
Go right from the ring, still in gear, still in go mode, still in let's fucking go mode. Because when there's a mentality to when you're in the ring and you're about to go to war in the ring and do what you're going to do to entertain the fans. And then to come straight from the ring to a press scrum where you haven't really had a chance to come down, so to speak, and just decompress and go, all right, let me get a drink in, let me get a shower, then I'll go do this press scrum and have 3 or 4 people going up there before him, Right. But he was at the building all day. He's getting ready for his match. He goes out there, he bleeds, he tears his tricep. He goes into a room full of people who are the leakers of the, Punk doing stuff to Colt Cabana, whether it's true or not, who knows? But, he sees Nick Hausman and was like, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
We're just going to fucking rip this open. Yeah.
Yeah. He was still in fucking fight mode from his match, and he put him in a room full of reporters, and some of them leaking what he thinks to be untruths, But then again, I say, he was shooting with the Young Bucks, but then when he talks about MJF and calls him a prick, that part was the work.
Right.
Shooting half working, but they put him in that position, straight from the ring to do that, to where they would just give him 20, 30 minutes to calm down.
Yeah.
Wipe the blood off your face, take a shower, put on your dress clothes, then go in there.
Yeah, he probably stinks and he's nasty and he's fucking still adrenaline high.
Yeah, and he's in a different mindset,
But my issue is, and again, we've talked about this, my shoot job is in the corporate world.
Right.
I work in management in my job.
Mm-hmm.
If any of my, I try to picture myself, right? If it was me and my assistant manager and, another manager type, maybe my boss, right? if we had an issue with, like, let's say you were working with me and Brian had some complaints to HR and, you know, said it publicly in front of HR, right? And Brian's having lunch and we go into the break room and then we start picking a fight and physically assaulting him. My ass would be fired, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, and we sort of touched on this last week, and I'm not gonna beat the point, but like, you guys are executive vice presidents of a company. Right. At the end of the day, you represent this company, this brand, this corporation, this business that is making money and generating revenue, and you're officers of this fucking organization. You can't do that kind of stuff. I don't care who you think you are. So I think for me, sort of reflecting on it more, Tony's got a tough choice, man. But for me, in a business sense, it wouldn't really even be a choice for me. Yes, I'd be upset about what Punk said, but like, guys, at the very least, you're out as EVPs. You're out. You're done. But I also could see Omega jumping to the Rumble. I just don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if he would want to do it at this stage in his career because he's just about getting ready to wrap up. But
Kenny has said that he's one more injury away from calling it a career.
I don't blame him, man.
He doesn't want to have to do the rehab.
Right.
I mean, who was the quarterback for Indianapolis Colts? Fucking called it a career 2 days before, or a couple days before the season 1 opener.
Yeah.
Just because he went, you know what? I've been getting hurt every year and doing this rehabs, and I'm tired of doing the fucking rehabs, and I'm just going to walk away. So, I mean, same mentality for Kenny.
And before we walk away, Meanie, I want to ask you a quick question.
Yes.
If I may predicate it with a...
Yeah, of course.
Would you like to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
It's the shits.
I can't remember what regular air smells like.
Don't forget, follow us on Twitter, @MindOfTheMeanie, using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear your questions asked on the show to Meanie. It's our favorite part of the show. You got your Schweppes today. You got your drink. I drank mine on the way home because I needed to stay awake. But what's yours?
I remembered my seltzer today.
Attaboy.
It's cranberry by Schweppes.
Schweppes. My brother used to call it. My brother Matt used to call it titty twister a Schwepp. He used to walk up and go Schwepp and fucking turn your tit. What the fuck,
So
dude?
3,
2, 1.
Do a little action on that.
Get a little Sandman on there. Speaking of Matt from Dover, my brother wants to know, hey, will Jalen Hurts have a better career in Philadelphia than Donovan McNabb?
That's too early to tell. If this was an election, it's too close to call, too early to call. I mean, I definitely think he'll be good. I think he's definitely going to do good. He's definitely, from what we saw last year with him and the work he's put on in the off season and how he's looked these first 2 games of this season. I think he's going to do some special things, but they say a better career to McNabb. Let's see how that goes first. I mean, he got him he got the Eagles to the playoffs last year, and it was a first round, defeat. But let's see how far they go this year, and see how far if they reach. If they happen to reach the playoffs, let's see how far they go into the playoffs before we start making that comparison.
I was waiting for it. I saw it kicking there. I knew that taste was coming. I knew it was coming, man. Love it.
Got stuck.
Mark and Dryden wants to know, here's a question for both of you. Adam, who was the first wrestler you met? I can't wait for Carl to mix that down because it's going to sound so glorious. I know I'm going to get a message from him. Why is he so gassy? The fuck is going on with that man? See a physician, dude.
As my grandma would say, you need a physic.
Yeah. Dude, my great-grandmother used to say that too. A physic for people who don't live in Philadelphia is an enema. So you need a physic. God, my great-grandmother. She used to say, she yelled at us all the time, my brother, that goddamn David needs his ass broken. And I'm like, fuck, 86-year-old woman's just horrifying. Mark and Dryden wants to know, here's a question for both of you. Adam, who was the first wrestler you ever met? Meanie, same question, but for you. First you met as a fan, And first wrestler you met when you got into the business. So you want me to go to first, or you want to go first?
You go first, yeah.
First, I met two at the same time. My very first. It was in 1997 or 1998. It was the Iron Sheik and King Kong Bundy. They were wrestling. They were doing a main event. It was a wrestling event my mom took us to. I think it was in Ocean City, New Jersey. It was on the boardwalk. And they were wrestling each other. And we met King Kong Bundy and the Iron Sheik. Both very nice guys. Iron Sheik didn't talk very much, but Bundy talked a lot. And it was pretty cool. So
it's weird because
Yeah, cause.
I went to my first wrestling event in 1982. Of course, you're not really meeting him, but I got to pat Andre the Giant on his belly as a kid. This is the greatest thing ever. And then time goes by. I would have to say it wasn't until like maybe WrestleMania 4 when my grandfather's boss got me into the VIP Fan Fest. And oh no, you know what? Fuck, I'm lying. The AWA came to Atlantic City 85-ish, maybe 85, 86. And a lot of the wrestlers hung out and got to meet people. So whoever the first wrestler I met at the AWA show is cloudy, but like definitely met I met Kurt Hennig, I met Greg Gagne, Scott Hall, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, Bockwinkel, Rick Martel. They were all there. I don't know which one I met first, but it was definitely at an AWA show in Atlantic City.
that's super cool.
Then, then as a professional, I guess, technically Al Snow because he trained me.
Right.
But once we start training and doing our shows and stuff, I mean, Al would take me to shows, as while I'm training. And I remember the woman who helped hook me up with Al Snow School, Phyllis Lee, would take me around and go, "Hi, hey guys, this is Brian. He's from Atlantic City. He's training with Al." So Phyllis brings me up to Road Warrior Hawk at a Midwest, at a MTW show, Midwest Territorial Wrestling Show. Old Gary Warncheck was running shows out of Michigan. She brings me up to Hawk, goes, "Hawk, this is Brian. He's from Atlantic City. He's training with Al Snow." And Hawk pats me on the back, goes, "Good luck, kid. It gets worse from here." I was like, "Oh, that's promising."
That's amazing.
But, I whether it's 100% accurate, I'm not sure. But yeah, because like I said, technically Al Snow, because he trained me. He's the one who broke me in. But as far as going around the show, it might have been Road Warrior Hawk once I started training and going up to shows with Al.
Coach Danny Cage wants to know, hey, Meanie, which student that trained with us at the Monster Factory have you crop dusted?
Which one haven't I crop dusted?
Ew! Gross.
Dude, back to when I was training with Al. One time Al was climbing to the top rope to do something. Try something, because we had a crash pad, go up the top rope, go off the top rope, do moves. And I'm sitting on a chair on the floor and farted. And then Al climbs to the top turnbuckle. And we had like these big fucking ceiling fans. They're like plane propellers or whatever. And like the fart only would go up so high and it hit Al right in the face. That to where Al went, oh, and slowly climbed down from the top rope. And it was like, whew. But as far as crop dusting, like I would like stand in the corner and like let one go and then run around the ring like Rick Steiner and just drag it around the fucking ring. I would do-si-do the ring with a fart.
Dragon tail it.
Yeah, drag. It's like running with toilet paper hanging from my pants. It's like a streamer. As far as crop dusting at the Monster Factory, I'm easily like, who haven't I?
Yeah.
Crop dust.
And who haven't we thanked yet today? The Pod Squad, thank you for joining us. And Meanie, I have to thank you for always entertaining me and answering all of my fun questions and having good banter with me every single week. one quick thing Lucha mentioned, not really a question, but I wanted to say great interview with RVD, Adam. I honestly didn't know how much of an advocate he is for marijuana. I am a medical user myself and believe in the benefits it has. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You can find that show, my conversation with Rob Van Dam, and a host of other people at my other show, Foundation Radio. You can go to foundationradio.net and check that out today. But Lucha, thank you so much for the props and the feedback. But Meanie, more importantly, where can folks find you on the social medias?
If you would like to follow the Blue Meanie, a.k.a. me, Senior Meanie, the big boss, the head cheese, the blue cheese.
Oh, that's good. The blue cheese. I like that.
Oozing blue cheese, Mo. I remember pitching that to Paul Heyman. I was like, he says oozing machismo. I could be oozing blue cheese, Mo. And the laugh he let out, I was like, oh, maybe that we'll go with that. All right. If you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and something called TikTok, at Blue Meanie BWO. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie, as I just got an alert that I sold a shirt.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yay.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I'm still paying for my trip to the Big E where I ate like a dickhead.
I really wanted to name last week's show Eating Like Dickheads, but I didn't want to get flagged. So,
well, you could have. You could have done the I with exclamation point.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, or the asterisk. Yeah, could have done it. Well, next time.
Yeah. If you would like to support Mind of the Meanie, our show here, every dollar you spend goes right back into keeping the lights on. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie, where we have a lot of great t-shirts up there as well. Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Use coupon code MEANIE. Save 10%. Rod Hicks is doing an amazing job over there at collarandelbowbrand.com. A lot of great shirts that I need to get for myself. Now, if you have these great looking t-shirts and you're a bearded fellow like myself, go to madcatbeardcare.com and get the blue spruce. Shout out to my boy Josh Thornton. He's doing an amazing job over there at madcatbeardcare.com. He just got Al Snow to do a line of beard oils. And all the money he makes there at madcatbeardcare.com goes to taking care of feral cats. So if you're a cat lover like myself, go over there to madcatbeardcare.com and get the blue spruce. Shout out to my boy Jim Nilsson over at glaciersofice.com. glaciersofice.com. Mr. Jim Nilsson made a 3 of 3 only handmade custom BWO Air Jordan 1 sneakers for Stevie Nova and myself. They're gorgeous. I'm afraid to let them out of the box. Every now and then I'll go by the box, open up and just smell the leather and admire it, and I'll shut it because I don't want a speck of dust to get on these things. They're so nice. But each pair of these shoes takes Jim about 50 hours per pair. Now, if you want to see him post photos and videos of the shoes he makes, go to at GOI Kicks on all forms of social media. That's GOI Kicks on all forms of social media. Speaking of other forms of social media, cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO for all your birthday wishes, holiday wishes, graduations, or just general how do you do. Go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO for all your Blue Meanie video needs. But more importantly, Mr. Barnard, how can we find you?
I'm just the guy in the sweatshirt, but thank you. I appreciate you. If you want to follow me on social media, you can go to Instagram and Twitter at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand, pal. Again, you can check out my other show, Foundation Radio, by going to foundationradio.net. Check out all of wonderful conversations, everyone from Rob Van Dam to Robert Costa to Asher Roth. I have something for everyone on the show. We even play Dungeons and Dragons sometimes. So go to foundationradio.net. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/Foundation Radio. Go ahead and pick up a shirt there. Support the show and keep the lights on at the Barnard Home for Wayward and Troubled Youth. Also want to give a shout out to Nate Smythe. Remember, his show's coming up September 30th at the Crooked Hammock in Middletown, Delaware from 5 to 8 p.m. Go ahead and check him out. Big supporter of the show. He also picked up an I'm an Adam Barnard Guy t-shirt as well. We have him in blue and in black. So go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie and pick one up today. Meanie, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you as always. Pod Squad, y'all are the fucking best. We can't wait to see you again next week for the Blue Meanie. I am Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind
Blue World Order.
of the Meanie. Peace.
Blue World Order.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie was recorded and produced by Adam Barnard and was engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional production and narration provided by Sam Krebs. Our executive producers are Josh Chernoff, Adam Barnard, and the Blue Meanie. Our opening theme is performed by the Swamp Candles. Our closing theme is performed by Chikara. The show contains original music produced by Enrichment. Get additional bonus content by becoming our patron on Patreon at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Mind of the Meanie. This has been a Butts Carlton media production in conjunction with the MLW Radio Network. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
Dad, why is Blue Meanie's brain out?
The world of MLW Radio never stops.